But it might just be how inept the technology has been, right? Where it's like, you'll say, choose from these three things. Are you calling to make a payment? Are you calling to change your service? And you're like, calling to make a payment. And the technology is like, did you say dill pickle? And you're like, give me an agent, customer service rep. You're smashing zero, right? And they take away your ability to bypass their stupid. Matt, what's going on, bro?
Hey, man. Just enjoying my time.
You and me both, brother. We're back for another episode of the Mission Control Podcast, brought to you by your boy, Mike Stearns, and proudly sponsored by the team at Roofer. If you guys don't use Roofer, you should. There's a lot of reasons why, but a few that come to mind are their instant roof quotes. They're great. Allow you to differentiate yourself and help give people what they're looking for when they're searching for you. Close more deals. Use that with their proposals. And I mean, their team is second to none. So there's going to be a link down in the description. You can click it. They'll know that I sent you and you'll be happy that you did. I promise. I promise. Without further ado, Matt Danskin back for his second tour, part 2 of the Mission Control Podcast. I mean, how excited are you to be here today?
It's one of my lifelong goals to be on this podcast, not once, but twice. And I can check it off the bucket list. Yeah,
we make dreams come true here. So I'm happy that you feel that way, and happy we could help you with that. I'm happy to be a part of your aspirations and bringing those to fruition. So thank you.
Thank you, man. I didn't know you were working with Roofer. I actually did a training with them on their masterclass series thing like a month ago, and it went really well. Yeah,
we worked with them for a long time. Just there's kind of like a symbiotic relationship between what roofers need from them, us, and the way that ties in together. And for the longest time, it was like the instant estimator and them drawing up their proposals with a few hour turnaround or whatever. And consistently what we found is that every single one of our customers that we were working with, that were working with us, working with Roofer, just had nothing but great things to say about them as far as how well the products work, the experience that they had, if they had issues, their customer support. So a lot of things aligned for us, and it's like, it just made sense to kind of partner.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like what they got going on for sure. Nice.
What was the topic for the masterclass?
It was something around inspections. So we did a part 2 for that too, because we did the part 1 was so popular that they were like, we got to have you back. And so we did part 2 as well. Same, right?
Savvy move. So you have a couple companies, right? Tell the audience, what are the name of those companies?
So Restoration Referral System, I've been doing for about 4.5 years. Teaches roofing contractors and restoration contractors how to create referral relationships with insurance agents. We don't do a lot of different things with that company. We just do that one thing really, really well. And then Building Experts Institute. About a year ago, I started with Matt Mulholland and another guy, John Tillman. We purchased the National Claims Institute. We produce really high quality, in-depth, expert-led training. So trying to tackle more of the technical side of roofing and claims, as opposed to sales and management and all that sort of stuff that a lot of people focus on. We're properly identifying hail, doing a thorough inspection, dealing with engineers, writing exactimates, all, documenting your claims, understanding building code, assessing repairability, all that sort of nerdy stuff. But that nerdy stuff is really important too.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So with Restoration Referral System, very specialized, focus on one thing. And that makes sense, guys. If you got a heart issue, you don't want to go to your just family physician primary care to have them diagnose what's wrong with your heart. You want to go to a cardiologist because they've been studying hearts for hopefully a very long time. And they're going to be much better equipped to give you guidance as far as how to have you in optimal cardiac health, I would think. That's what I would do. So go see Matt. Figure out how you can build these relationships to where you can get a ton of leads, huh? So as Building Experts Institute, is it supposed to be a hub that I can go to as a contractor and really learn all facets of the business? Or are there certain clusters that you guys are going to specifically get people up to speed on?
So we're not trying to tackle all facets. Like I said, we're not trying to tackle sales. We're not trying to tackle management and running your company and your finances and your marketing and all that sort of stuff. Business development. It really is just focused on the technical side of things. Of a lot of the claim stuff that people take for granted and are lazy with and bad at because they don't know any better, frankly. We're taking and teaching very, very thoroughly. We're getting the best people on the planet. So we've kind of copied the business model of Masterclass, if you're familiar with that. Mm-hmm. Where they take who is the very best person to teach and speak on this topic. Let's get that person. Let's go really, really in depth. It's not just going to be a little summary, on this thing. You're going to understand this better than 99% of people in the market when you're done with this course. And then we produce it beautifully. John Tillman is our director of media. That we shoot it with multiple cameras that are really high-end cameras, and he knows what he's doing with them, and professional lighting and professional audio. And then we edit everything down. So that's what we're doing right now with the courses that we have in production.
That's amazing. My concern with whether it's enrolling in a course or like selling a course is the percentage of people that sign up and don't do anything with it, right? Like even if they attend it, they watch it, like it doesn't get, there's no action plan associated with that. Is there some sort of methods that you have as far as trying to bolster what percentage of people that enroll in the course are actually consuming the content? And not only that, they're actually doing something with that content that's going to change their business.
Yeah, so with Restoration Referral System, it is very much like you could get all the information and then do nothing with it. And obviously that's going to do nothing for you. And so I've had to kind of bake into the process, all right, we're going to learn this thing. And all right, now we're going to do that one small thing. We're going to make sure, I still can't make a horse drink, but I can cram their head pretty close to the water, is what I like to say. With Building Experts Institute, really, once you have that information, that is going to work its way into your system. Understanding how hailstorms happen and the way that the damage presents itself and the way to document it and all those types of things, they may not adopt our processes 100% the way that we teach it, but that information is going to better equip them to look at a roof and understand what did or didn't happen here and understand how to make that case to the insurance company or to the homeowner or whatever the case may be. That one's a little bit easier. I would say it's almost like a Netflix subscription in the sense of like you sign up for BEI, you get access to everything. Now, I have a Netflix subscription and I haven't watched anything in a month. But I keep my Netflix subscription because I might want to watch it next month. I might have some free time on my hands and want to sit down and watch that new series that they've got out or that new course that BEI has come out with. So we don't necessarily force people to do that stuff, but we do want to make the information so good and the way that it's presented so good that you actually enjoy it. I know that's kind of a foreign concept in our industry because most stuff is shot on an iPhone with the wind blowing in the microphone. And, I know you're sitting here in a studio with beautiful production. I'm actually, on my laptop here. This isn't what our courses look like. And most of them are, with people, prettier than me. But the point of it is if you can make that viewing experience and that listening experience better, and then the information is so good that it makes you money, it makes you more successful, that's what we're doing to lead people to go, you know what, I'm going to invest my time into this. I'm going to learn this stuff. I'm going to use it because I got a little bit of it and it's working.
I love that. What's some of the critical feedback you've gotten thus far?
Critical is in like bad?
Not bad, just like not raining endorsements. Like when, like we're doing this meetup thing, and one of the things that we tried to do was like a focus group, and it was a lot of things that people felt good about. I'm like, yeah, but I want to know like what you don't like about this. Like tell me, has anyone spoken out as far as things like where they see opportunity for improvement?
You know, I think one of the biggest downsides to trying to have really high quality production and trying to go really in depth is that it slows down how quickly we can crank out courses. And so people are like, all right, I'm ready for the next one. I want more. And we're not going to compromise on that quality. We're not going to, just spit something out. And so I think that's been frustrating. I mean, that's frustrating for me because I'm like, I want to get all this information out as quick as possible, but it takes time to deliver on that level of quality. So like, that's like what is your biggest weakness? Oh, sometimes I care too much, right? Like, it's but some of the things I teach our inspection course, and that's probably been our most controversial, because our test squares, I will mark every legitimate hail hit in a test square. So we might have 70 hits in a test square, and 99% of roofers are going to mark 10 and then just go 10 plus. And because that's what the insurance company told them to do. That's what the adjusters taught them to do. And the problem that we see is these guys are marking 10, and then the insurance company's looking at their photos, and maybe some of those hail hits didn't photograph very well. Maybe, a couple of them are not hail, they're blistering or a manufacturer defect or whatever the case is. And then now they go, hey, 4 of those I don't agree with you on. You got 6. Our threshold is 8 to 10. We're going to prescribe a repair. And instead of that roofing contractor spending 5 more minutes to actually document it, now they're stuck. And so some of those things like that I truly deeply believe this is the best way to go about it. There's just that friction where people are like, I've done it for 10 years. I've sold this many millions of dollars in roofs, and I get this stuff approved. I'm going to keep doing it my way. And I'm like, all right, cool, do it your way. But next time that you get one denied that should have been approved, that probably would have been approved had you spent another couple minutes on it, think of me.
So it's like a situation, and I'm ignorant to this stuff, but based on what you're telling me, so if you're doing 70 strikes versus 10, the sample size is way bigger. So even if let's say they minimize what you've marked up by 60%, you still have a situation where there's 30 strikes, right? And it's much harder to see.
Right. Yeah. So if their threshold, and different carriers have different thresholds of what they consider significant. That might be 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 or 20, whatever it is. If we're taking a sampling of the roof, which is 100 square feet in most people's process, and we're using that to determine how much damage is all over the roof, again, if I mark everything, they can say, hey, I don't agree with some of these. We're still going to be above their threshold. The result still ends up, this claim is approved, we're building the roof.
That seems pretty intuitive. Why is it controversial?
Because people are lazy. I don't know if you noticed this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's all that they're lazy. It's just that they've had some success doing the bare minimum. And so it's hard to see the forest for the trees and say, you know what, the ones that I am struggling with could be solved very quickly and easily just by doing this every single time.
I mean, how much extra time on each roof does it take to make the additional 60 circles?
I mean, like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a disproportionate amount of upside for the effort that would have to be exerted.
Yeah, that's why it's, one of those things that is like, I'm not going to change. Even if you don't like this, I think this is the way to go. And so I'm going to keep pounding that drum until people adopt it or don't.
Or no, yeah, whatever. It's your world, live in it. So what has been, I guess, as far as like the curriculum that you guys have deployed, what has been the most viewed? Where have you gotten the most engagement?
The first course that we came out with is called Defeating Unethical Engineering Tactics, which is just a masterclass on when an insurance company engages with an engineer, essentially for the purpose of denying your claim, how to navigate that situation. It's like a college course on that topic. Matt Mulholland does a really good job of that. He's taught that topic and developed that training for years now, and that's something that you're not going to find anywhere else. There's other places where they're going to teach you about what hail damage is, maybe not to the degree we do. There's other places they're going to teach you how to inspect a roof, probably not the same way that we do, but that's something that it's like nobody else touches, and so we kind of own that.
So how frequently, I know that there's challenges to like how frequently you're putting out content. How frequently is new content being added to the library?
It's about every 6 weeks right now. We're releasing a new course. Our goal is to have that once a month. We're not there. We're not there just yet. We've got 8 courses out, but I've got 3 that we've recorded that are in production right now. And so we'll have our next course out here in a couple of weeks. There'll be another one about 4 weeks after that, another one about 4 weeks after that. We're not guaranteeing we're going to have a new course every week, but that is something that we are working really, really hard to meet that mark.
Mm. Where did this come about?
The business in itself. So I've known Matt Mulholland for years. I've developed a Restoration Referral System. In doing so, I hired a video guy, John Tillman, and found somebody who's really, really great at that. I saw Matt had the National Claims Institute, which he was providing great education. People had really good feedback about the information that they were getting. It was just difficult because you had to, fly down to Florida, take time off of work, go, sit through these courses. Just the logistics of it added a lot to the cost. The fact that they could only train so many people made the cost high as well. So it was something that business wasn't really thriving because they couldn't get enough people to spend a bunch of money on these courses. It wasn't a great deal for the students because they had to spend so much just to get there to learn the stuff. And so, kind of came up with the idea of like, let's get this really good information out to the masses. Let's record it really, really well. Let's have it available 24/7. Let's make it accessible and affordable for everyone to have, so that we can make our business successful by having lots and lots of users, subscribing to this training, as opposed to trying to make all of our money off of a handful of people that we're overcharging for the training.
So how long did it take to go from that point to the inception of BEI?
About 6 months. It's something that even as Restoration Referral System, I had kind of played around with the idea of tackling more topics and bringing other people in on doing that. But it was just a matter of like the right people and the right skill sets came together at the right time.
I love that for you. So what else is new, man?
Oh, man, I am, it's summertime here at the time of this recording, if you're watching this later. So I'm kind of enjoying being home. and working from home and developing courses and all that sort of stuff. We get into the off season, so to speak, and it's traveling for conferences, for trainings, for all sorts of stuff. So that's kind of the rhythm of my life right now.
So how long do you get this this reprieve?
About 3 months. It's about 3 months of not traveling and about 9 months of traveling.
It's a lot of traveling.
It is. I mean, I'm not traveling constantly during those 9 months, but there's a good bit of it. Yeah. How about you, though, man? You just had an absolute game changer in your life.
You talking about Lil Everett?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's something special, that kid. He's growing quick, too. The bulking season was a success from months 0 to 6, so he's up to like 20 pounds.
Okay.
Now we're trying to lean out just a little bit. And not really lean out, more so just curb the bulk, right? So he's doing great.
Okay.
Brings me a lot of joy.
Yep.
And it's amazing. It's my daughter's turning 17, and a lot's changed in my life, and like things that you buy for kids and things like that. So it's been a very interesting journey.
I bet, man. I've got my youngest is 2.5, and I'm glad to be done with the baby stage till the grandkids come around.
Yeah. And then like I always look forward to being like a grandparent, right? It's like, oh yeah, bring my grandbaby over. We'll hang out for like 5 hours. They'll think I'm the coolest person in the world. I'll let them do whatever they want. And then here, take your kid back. Right? Yeah.
That's the dream.
Sounds magical. Yeah. Things at the center are going great. Team's going well. We just brought on an account manager here. We're getting her trained up and assimilated into the culture. It's been a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy it. We're fortunate to have a great group of clients and partners and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, just one foot in front of the other, brick by brick by brick.
Let me, can I ask you some questions?
Fuck yeah. Let's turn the table. Christian, do some sweet editing on this.
So, in the digital space, obviously it'd be great if customers came to work for you or you work with you. What do you see, but like even like outside of Ascend or anything, what do you see as like the biggest changes happening in the like website space, not necessarily roofing specifically, but like, I don't stay up to date on these things. Like, is there any like major changes with AI or with SEO or any of the things?
Oh yeah, always changes, always big changes. There's some like digital marketing coaches out there that'll tell you all you need is ChatGPT. You can eliminate marketing agencies in their entirety, and just do everything with ChatGPT, and you're gonna be great. I don't take that stance. I don't. We've used AIs and implemented it into facets of our business really for efficiency. I think that it's a great tool. I think that there's plenty of opportunity for it to grow. I feel like from its baseline to where it's at now, it's improved considerably, and it'll continue to do that. But I think that anybody, for a lot of, especially marketing companies, the ones that are going to continue to add value and make impacts for their clients, it's going to be how they leverage these different resources, right? I'm a part of a bunch of forums like outside of roofing, and a lot of people are pushing like AI created images, websites, things like that, and it's like you could tell that there wasn't much time, energy, and attention put into these things. Like, where will it be in 12 months, 24 months? No fucking clue, honestly, because the rate of innovation and the rate at which things change, it's crazy. When AI started becoming more pervasive, I bet on NVIDIA. I was like, oh, they make like hardware to integrate with like these software things and AI. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do that. I'm really glad I did that. It was a nominal amount of money, but it always feels good to get a win, right? So whatever. That's an interesting side note. Yeah, I think that it's like the AI stuff is so useful for so many reasons, right? Like if you're trying to create content, you're having writer's block. If you're trying to develop SOPs. But I think that there's there's an underlying principle that always has to be paid attention to. It's not just like, here, put a prompt in, pull all this out, slap it on an SOP, and like, now go run your company. Like, there's nuance to that, right? Especially like for if you're creating standard operating procedures, right? Like, use that as a framework and then refine that framework, and then take the framework that you've created for that SOP and then make it your own, because your company A versus B versus C versus D, like, they're all going to change a little bit. There's all going to have their different flavors and nuance to them. So I think like that's an instance where, as opposed to sitting down with a pen and a paper and trying to write out, a 15-page SOP for something within your company, that really sucks and it's time intensive, and not a lot of people are going to do that. Use things like AI and the tools that are afforded to you to streamline that process, make it easier on yourself, and accomplish more, right? Yeah, I'm very interested to see, like, over the next 36 months where things head in general, and not just specific to marketing, just like with businesses and the opportunities that AI will afford as it becomes more refined and more real time, how things can change within a business by leveraging new technologies that are constantly being created.
My thoughts, I see the AI on the AI side of things. I see with claims, AI taking that over really quickly. So a lot of the supplement companies and all that sort of stuff are already using AI heavily to do their job, right? To write an argument as to why, we need starter on this roof, or whatever stupid thing it is for supplementing. I think a year from now, claims are going to be getting settled and negotiated back and forth with AIs fighting both sides of that battle. To the point where it's just you're trying to build your AI bot to beat their AI bot. So that'll be an interesting development, I think.
12 months, that's a prediction?
That's my prediction is 12 months. There's going to be a lot of that. Not to say that that's the only way it's going to be getting done, but I think there's going to be a lot of that in 12 months.
Yeah, I don't think that seems far-fetched. And again, I'm not intimately involved with any of these things, but as far as I guess the fluidity and the agility of AI to adapt in things, and as they expand the resources that are invested to it, it doesn't seem like we're not talking about rocket science here, right? It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many different variables to a claim situation. And so it's just plugging in the variables and setting up algorithms to deal with all of them, and you're done. Then you can replace billions of dollars worth of administration.
Yeah. Speaking of like AI and like progression of innovation, have you ever heard of like Neuralink?
Yeah.
How far away are we from like that? Isn't that terrifying? I'm fucking afraid. I don't know. I don't see that. I'm not going to say that it's like never going to happen, but I don't see the path for people to be like, yep, put that in my head. I'm good with that. I think there's enough people that are just I'm a technology adopter, right? Like I was on all this like ChatGPT, a year and a half ago, which is fairly early on, right? Like I'm not leading the charge by any stretch, but like I got an Apple Vision. I get, the newest drone that comes out. Like I'm into technology stuff, but you're not plugging anything into my brain. I'm good. Yeah, it's like the augmented reality stuff concerns me as well. I think about like when I was a kid, friends would come over, we'd play video games, and it was like a social experience, right? We're playing like Resident Evil, fucking shooting zombies, whatever, right? Like a lot of fun. And then like when PlayStation 3 came out with the PlayStation Network, and now everyone can just throw on a headset, it's like now everyone isolated, and we still got that time together, but we're all doing it via our own room, and it's not the same. It's not the same experience. And I don't know, it just seems like you know, with everything being like internet related, with social media, gaming, and things like that, it seems like much less frequently nowadays than back in my day. Like kids are getting together and like stimulating each other like in ways, and like, I don't know, we used to go play fucking manhunt and go roof hopping when we were like 13 years old in the city. Probably not the best life choice, but it was a lot of fun, right? And I got experiences to draw off of, not just sitting on fucking TikTok watching people dance. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're very aware of. Like, so the funny thing is my 13-year-old just walked through with the Apple Vision on over his head, like watching a movie while he walks around the house. You know, and only he can hear it and only he can see it. And, which I did, like he was doing something with me. And then I told him, I was like, I got to do this podcast, go be by yourself for a little bit. But, that stuff definitely is it can be isolating. And so, I think for old folks like us, like, you know, we're always going to like crave that social interaction. And like, this is the way that we're wired. And, but you know, we're probably a generation away from people just being like, yeah, I'm going to sit in my condo by myself and VR and have a date with somebody. And I'm, you know, I prefer that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a couple of questions that come to mind. Like, one, what is our responsibility to our children as far as putting guardrails on, you know, how frequently they can use technology, right? Whether it's social media, whether it's VR, like, do we have that responsibility? And if so, in your mind, like, how many hours a day? The other thing is, like, I heard not too long ago something about like people having like legitimate relationships with chatbots, like AI chatbots on the internet, and like spending hours consuming back and forth. Like it was fucking, I was baffled. Yeah. So I guess that one's not a question. That's more so a statement.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, we have, you know, very strict requirements with our kids in terms of like what content they're consuming and how much and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, like they'll get a little bit of time by themselves, and then, you know, if we do something, it'll be like a movie night with the family, which, you know, we've got kids from 2 to 13. So, you know, that stuff's usually pretty childish type of content. But, yeah, we also like are very intentional about like getting the kids out, and whether it's like sports camps or whatever it is, like you're going to go be around people and learn how to interact, because that is insanity to have a relationship with a software.
Yeah, I'd say. And it's interesting too, because I feel like some of the unintended consequence of all these great things that allow like convenient interaction, like let's say for instance, like you know, playing Call of Duty with your friends on like a headset or whatever. I think that like a social anxiety kind of gets brought about as a result of that. And like, if you look at the way that people typically interact on a website, if you know 100 people, let's say 20 that are age 20 that are 30, 40, 50, 60, right? And like how they choose to interact, right? Like the older demographic is typically going to be like, I want a phone call, I want to talk to somebody. Where like at the other end of the spectrum, it's like, fucking, I don't want to talk to anybody. Let me just book my appointment, right? And I'll, you know, if I have a husband, he's going to sit there and talk to him because I don't want to deal with it. So it's like, well, we take that into consideration, like when we're building websites, right? So we don't always want to pigeonhole. If you're a roofer, right, you could be serving people from the age of 21 up to 70, right? And their preferred method of conversion could be very different based on how old they are. So we always want to make pervasive calls to action and diverse calls to action to accommodate whatever it is for the experience that you want, right?
Way to bring it back around to roofing websites. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. But I mean, that's a great point or whatever. Is like we all like engage with technology differently. So that is a really important thing to make sure you're addressing the way different people deal with technology and the way that they want to engage. I was always as a roofing salesperson, I was always the guy that like I would have someone schedule their appointment with me, and a lot of my customers really loved that. And a lot of times they wouldn't even be home, and I'd go do my inspection, and I'd send them a company cam link, and I'd send them an e-doc. And like I literally had customers that I sold their roof, picked out materials, worked their claim, built their roof, collected payment without ever seeing their face. And, you know, and that's 5-6 years ago. Right. And I wonder if that's going to become more of the trend. And, you know, you have people that are like, no, I'd never do that. Why? Right? Like, why not? You know, if that's the way that they want to engage with it and it's a profitable transaction and everything works for everybody, why not?
Yeah, I don't necessarily see a reason why you don't at least let it be an option. I guess the only thing is it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard if you're trying to develop a sales process and you're building a sales team. And let's say you have a larger sales team, like I guess they have to be situationally aware as far as catering to the customer and what the customer wants. But a lot of the times it's not them setting the appointment. So the responsibility, I guess, would fall on whoever's answering the phone to make the determination. Are we going to walk them down a path of an in-person appointment? Is it as simple as just asking them, do you want somebody in person or do you want to do this remotely? And I think that's a tough choice to make, because I think a lot of the times people, like if I'm a company owner, I might want my salespeople in front of the customer to have the opportunity to build that relationship, because there is a difference in that, right? But to your point, there's a lot of people that they don't want to fucking see anybody, right? And they just want, give me what it's going to cost me to fix. I'm going to make a choice. And if it's you and I never got to see you and I can get a new roof, like this has been fantastic and I'll give you 5 stars.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be for everybody, but I do think that really going forward, you know, talk about like, hey, your sales force, can they manage this? I think that allows you to have AI fill in the gaps for your sales force, to follow up with customers, to you know, answer their questions that are, you know, the repeat type of questions that they get, to update people on what's going on. I think the automations and the AI and all that sort of stuff, having that type of process and then sprinkling in, you know, if you want that person in person, great, we've got them too. Yeah, I think you saw that with customer service. People hated that when everything went to robot voice, you know, dial this number for this option or whatever.
You're just screaming, agent,
killing it because they were like, we have live customer service.
I think, yeah, and that's where I was going to go with this next was, you know, I specifically, I want to talk to somebody, and maybe that's because I'm old. I don't know what it is. Like, I like to talk to somebody, but it might just be how inept the technology has been, right? Where it's like, you know, you'll say, you know, choose from these 3 things. Are you calling to make a payment? Are you calling to change your service? And you're like, calling to make a payment. And the AI or the technology is like, did you say dill pickle? And you're like, give me an agent, customer service rep. You're smashing 0, right? And they take away your ability to bypass their stupid fucking system that doesn't allow you to do what you want. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. Now, fast forward, like if we have AI that's implemented where it actually is competent enough to facilitate the outcome that I want efficiently, I guess I'd be more excited about using something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like you said, there's no telling where this is going to be a year or 2 from now, but it's definitely progressing quickly.
Yeah. So you said that you had questions for me, and I think you asked me one question. What other questions do you got?
Any growth spurts coming up?
Yeah, Everett's about to hit a growth spurt soon.
No.
I'm not gonna. No, I'm 5'0" for the rest of my life. So that's rude, by the way. But again, work on my posture, and I look tall.
Oh man, there you go. Just angle the camera. you know, if I were as pretty as you, I wouldn't have to pick on your height. So, it is.
Yeah.
It is so choppy right now. I'm getting like little bits and pieces of you.
Okay. Well, this was fun. We should do it again sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Part 3.
Part 3 coming soon to a YouTube channel near you at Ascend Digital Agency. I think that's the handle, right? I don't know. Just punch in Ascend Digital Agency. You'll find the content. You go on Spotify. I mean, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. Matthew, thank you so much for so graciously attending and providing value to the audience. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me again, man.
Thank you to the team at Roofer for helping making this possible. And thank you to you, the ones listening. We do it all for you. Drop some comments. Share it with somebody who it'll help. And we gone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.